Settle into stillness, let your breathing slow, and imagine the night as a wide, patient river. The story drifts like that river, unhurried, without sharp turns, carrying you across centuries where lamps glow low and voices speak softly. There are no chapters here, only a continuous murmur, a long walk under stars. The gentle question of when people first met a fragrant plant and how its smoke became a companion to rest, ritual, and wandering thought. Long before calendars learned to count, before walls learned to stand, there were paths worn by feet and hooves across open ground. On those paths moved people who knew the land as a breathing thing. They gathered seeds that stuck to their clothes, leaves that soothed a cough, fibers that bent without breaking. Among these gifts was a plant that grew easily in disturbed soil, liking riverbanks and the edges of camps where ashes enriched the earth. Its leaves were slender and serrated, its scent green and resinous when warmed by sun. People did not name it yet, they did not need to. They knew it by touch and by the way it followed them, appearing where they had been. In the evenings when the fire quieted to embers, someone would toss a bundle of dried stems onto the coals, not to smoke them but to keep insects away, to sweeten the air, to add a soft note to the night. The smoke curled and drifted. It made the shadows gentler, it made the stories longer. No one wrote this down. Memory held it, memory always does. Time moved like a tide, and camps became villages. Clay bowls appeared, then ovens, then the slow patience of fields. The plant stayed. It was useful in many ways. Its fibers twisted into cord, its seeds pressed into oil. Its leaves brewed into teas when joints ached after harvest. And sometimes, when the day's labor pressed too hard, the dried flowers were warmed and inhaled, not with instructions or measurements, but with a feeling for the right moment. People noticed how laughter softened, how sleep arrived more easily, how dreams grew vivid and calm. They spoke of it in metaphors, a blanket for the mind, a bridge to the other side of wakefulness. In places where rivers cut through plains and mountains kept secrets, ritual learned to listen. In the far north of one ancient steppe, a burial mound rose over a resting place. Inside, a small brazier held stones darkened by heat, and the faint trace of something burned long ago. The mourners had carried smoke into the tented chamber, believing it could ease the passage between worlds. The smoke did not shout, it whispered. It made grief less sharp. It gave the living permission to breathe. Across deserts, caravans stitched continents together. Bells chimed on camels, and languages braided like rope. Along with salt and silk, ideas traveled, and so did plants. The fragrant one rode in pouches and memory. It found new soils and adapted. In one valley, it was pressed into medicine. In another, it was reserved for holy days. In a third, it was simply part of the evening, like bread and water and a place to sit. No single beginning announced itself. There were many beginnings, like sparks from the same fire. As cities grew, so did rules. What soothed could also alarm. What eased could also distract. Leaders worried about order. Healers argued over balance. Priests debated purity. Yet in back rooms and courtyards, under fig trees and on rooftops, the smoke rose anyway, gentle as breath. It was shared in circles where names mattered less than listening. Someone would say, "Remember when the night felt endless?" And someone else would reply, "It still does, if you let it." In one ancient town by a river that flooded faithfully, scribes scratched symbols into wet clay. They recorded taxes, marriages, eclipses. They did not record the way a woman laughed after the smoke softened her worry about tomorrow as rain, or the way an old man slept without pain for the first time in weeks. These things lived outside official ink. They lived in the soft archive of evenings. Centuries layered themselves like dust. Empires rose and set like suns. The plant endured because it did not demand attention. It asked for a corner of earth and a little time. In some places, it was woven into law. In others, it slipped between the lines. In monasteries, gardens grew orderly and monks copied texts by candlelight. Some monks brewed herbal mixtures to calm the mind before prayer. Others frowned. The debate was quiet but constant. What brings peace, and at what cost? The smoke listened and said nothing. Farther east, poets wrote about wandering clouds and empty cups. They spoke of forgetting the self for a moment, of becoming as wide as the sky. The fragrant plant entered these poems obliquely, as a hint, a sigh, a pause between lines. Readers nodded. They understood without needing to be told. When the world began to shrink under the press of sails and maps, The plant crossed oceans. It met tobacco and coffee and sugar, and the conversations changed. Smoke became fashionable in some rooms and forbidden in others. Pipes were carved, then hidden. The gentle plant learned to wear disguises, to be medicine here, fiber there, contraband somewhere else. Still, in kitchens and fields, people remembered its older face. They remembered evenings that ended kindly. There were times when fear hardened into law. Smoke was blamed for idleness, for rebellion, for thoughts that wandered too far from the straight path. Yet even then, stories found a way. A grandmother would tell a child about a night when the stars leaned closer, and the child would listen, eyes half closed, and later, when grown, would understand the missing piece. In a coastal city with fog that rolled in like a soft blanket, artists gathered in cramped rooms. They talked about color and sound, about how to catch the moment before it vanished. Someone lit a small amount of the familiar plant, and the room breathed together. Ideas slowed, then deepened. The fog outside mirrored the fog inside, not confusion, but softness. The city slept, and in its sleep, it dreamed of bridges. Science arrived with instruments and names. It separated what had been whole and labeled the parts. It asked what made the mind feel lighter, what eased pain, what tangled thought. Answers came slowly, carefully. Some were celebrated. Some were feared. The plant waited. Plants are patient. There were decades of shouting, of slogans and marches. Smoke became a symbol, and symbols are heavy things. People forgot the evenings and remembered only the arguments. Yet even in the noise, somewhere a person sat alone at the end of a long day, warmed a small bowl, inhaled gently, and slept. History does not notice sleepers, but sleepers carry history forward. Then the shouting tired itself out, as shouting often does. Conversations returned, quieter, more precise. Laws bent, gardens reopened. The plant stepped back into the light, a little cautious, a little changed. People talked about balance again, about context, about respect. They talked about sleep. Sleep had always been the quiet partner in this story. From the first ember-lit circles to the crowded modern nights, the smoke had leaned toward rest. It had offered a hand to the racing mind, a dimmer switch for the day. It had said, "You can stop now. The world will be here in the morning," and there was more, always more. The plant had been a fiber, a food, a medicine, a ritual, a controversy, a comfort. It had been misunderstood and overused and underestimated. It had been loved without words. It had been carried across continents in pockets and songs. It had been burned and brewed and woven. It had been a reason to sit together. As you lie there now, listening to this long river of time, notice how the story does not rush. It does not insist. It moves at the speed of embers cooling. Imagine those embers, glowing softly, sending up a thread of smoke that thins and disappears. Imagine the people around the fire, then the fields, then the cities, all breathing in unison for a moment. Imagine how sleep comes when the world agrees to be quiet. The river keeps moving. The night deepens. The plant returns to earth, to seed, to soil. The arguments fade. What remains is the simple human wish to feel at ease, to rest without fear, to dream kindly. That wish is older than any rule and gentler than any debate. It curls up beside you now, like a cat finding a warm place, and together, you drift, uncounting time, letting history hum itself to sleep. The river does not end, it widens. Night after night, the story keeps breathing, and so do you. Somewhere beyond the edge of memory, beyond dates and arguments, the ember light returns, softer now, like a heartbeat heard through walls. In the quiet after the fire settles, people learn small truths. They learn that silence has texture, that it can be warm or cool. They learn that the mind, when unhurried, arranges itself the way leaves do on still water. The fragrant plant becomes less a thing and more a pause, a comma in the long sentence of living. It is there when the day has said enough and the night is ready to listen. In a stone house tucked into a hillside, a lamp burns low. A shepherd returns from counting sheep under a sky crowded with stars. His back aches. His thoughts loop. He warms a pinch of dried flour, inhales carefully, respectfully, as he was taught. The ache loosens its grip. The loop opens. He lies down and sleeps without bargaining with the dark. Outside, the sheep shift and sigh. The hill keeps its secrets. In a port city where languages collide like waves, a sailor sits on a crate at dawn, watching gulls argue over crumbs. He has crossed an ocean and lost track of days. He remembers a pouch given to him by a friend in another harbor, with a smile and no instructions. He uses it sparingly. It reminds him that land exists, that sleep can happen even when the ground keeps moving in memory. He dreams of forests he has never seen and wakes grateful. Time layers itself again. Factories hum. Clocks learn to shout. Nights glow with artificial suns. The plant adapts, as it always has. It hides in jars, in cupboards, in conversations that lower their voices out of habit. People forget how to sit still, then remember. Someone writes a song that takes 3 minutes and feels like an hour. Someone else listens with eyes closed and breathes easier. There are nights when worry paces like a guard who will not rest. Bills, deadlines, words said too sharply, words not said at all. On such nights, the smoke is not an escape but a doorway into gentler thinking. Thoughts arrive one at a time. They take off their coats. They sit. Sleep follows, not as a collapse but as an agreement. In a hospital room lit like noon at midnight, a patient stares at the ceiling, counting tiles. Pain has a way of stretching time thin. A nurse speaks softly about options, about balance, about rest. Later, with care and guidance, the patient finds that the night can be crossed without being torn. Dreams come back, cautious at first, then curious. Morning arrives without having been wrestled. Across a desert where the wind writes and erases, a family gathers for a wedding. The air smells of spice and dust. After the dancing, after the laughter has settled, elders sit together and pass stories the way others pass cups. They speak of ancestors and journeys, of plants that fed and clothed and soothed. The fragrant one is mentioned without emphasis, just as part of the weave. Children half listen, half sleep, learning by osmosis what matters. The arguments return sometimes, as arguments do, wearing new clothes. Numbers are cited. Warnings are posted. Celebrations are planned. Through it all the evening persists. The hour when lights dim and voices soften. The hour when a person can choose to be kind to themselves. The plant remains what it has always been in those hours. Optional, contextual, powerful in its quiet way. Imagine now a library where no books are shelved. The knowledge there is lived, not written. It smells faintly of smoke and soil. The librarian is time itself, patient and amused. When asked, when did people start? Time smiles and gestures to the river, to the many sparks, to the countless evenings that never made it into records. The answer is not a date, but a feeling. When people learn to sit with the night instead of fighting it. As you listen, your own evening joins the long lineage. Your room is another circle. Your breath is another ember. The story does not ask you to believe anything. It asks you to rest. To let the mind loosen its grip. To trust that sleep is an old companion who knows the way. Outside, somewhere, a plant grows at the edge of a path, minding its business, ready to be fiber or food or medicine or nothing at all. Inside, your thoughts thin and drift. The river carries you gently, and the night, satisfied, pulls its blanket a little higher. The night agrees, and it keeps going, because nights are generous like that. They do not count pages or minutes. They only notice breathing. The river widens again, smooth as dark glass, and the story floats on, carrying small lamps from many places, each lamp glowing just enough to be seen. There's a village where the houses are made of mud and patience. At the end of every day, dust settles into hair and clothes and thoughts. People wash their hands, share a simple meal, and sit outside while the heat loosens its grip. Someone tends a small fire, not for cooking now, but for company. The familiar plant is nearby, dried and kept with care. It is not used every night. Only when the day has been heavy. Only when sleep needs an invitation instead of a command. When the smoke rises, conversation slows, words stretch. Silence becomes friendly. Children fall asleep where they sit, heads tipping gently, as if guided by an invisible hand. Far away, in a colder land, winter presses its face against the windows. Darkness comes early and stays late. A family gathers indoors, knitting, mending, listening to the wind make decisions it will later regret. An elder tells stories of long-ago summers and journeys taken on foot. The plant appears here too, warm slightly, its scent mixing with wood smoke. It does not erase winter. It softens its edges. It reminds the body that warmth can be internal. Sleep arrives like a snowflake landing on an open palm. In a city where towers scrape the sky and nights never fully darken, a person lies awake with a phone glowing like a restless moon. Thoughts flicker too fast. Tomorrow presses down. The body is tired, but the mind keeps watch. Eventually the glow dims. A window opens. Air moves. Somewhere between routine and ritual, the familiar pause is taken. Breathing slows. Muscles unclench one by one, as if receiving permission. Sleep does not crash in. It seeps, quiet and complete. The story drifts back in time again, not sharply, but like a memory surfacing during a dream. Long before words like weed or cannabis or any name at all, there was curiosity. People noticed how fire changed things. How roots sweetened, how leaves calmed, how smoke carried messages to the sky. They learned by listening to their bodies, by watching each other, by remembering. Knowledge moved through hands and mouths and nights, not through books. Somewhere on a high plateau, a traveler pauses beside a stone circle. The air is thin. Stars feel close enough to touch. The traveler warms a small amount of the plant, as taught by someone long gone. The smoke rises straight up, obedient to the cold. Thoughts loosen their tight knots. The traveler feels both smaller and larger, a good combination. Wrapped in a cloak, they sleep and dream of paths that lead home, even if home keeps changing. Centuries later, others argue about that same plant in crowded rooms with polished tables. Voices sharpen. Papers shuffle. Decisions are made far from fields and fires. But decisions have a way of thinning out by the time they reach the night. In bedrooms and backyards and quiet corners, people still seek the same thing they always have: rest without struggle. There is a gentle truth that keeps repeating itself in the story, no matter the era. Sleep is not conquered, it is welcomed. The plant, when used with care, has often been a doorkeeper, standing aside when the time is right, never pushing, never pulling too hard. When it is misused, it steps back, reminding people that even gentleness has boundaries. This understanding comes slowly, like all useful understandings. In a future not far from now, gardens are planned with intention. Labels are clear. Conversations are calmer. People talk openly about why they choose what they choose. Some prefer tea, some prefer silence, some prefer a hint of smoke drifting out into the dark. There is less drama about it, less urgency. The night feels less crowded. A person lies in bed, listening to rain tap out an uneven rhythm on the roof. The mind wanders to old questions. When did people start? Why did it matter so much? The answers dissolve into something simpler. People started when they noticed that life could be eased. It mattered because ease is precious. The rain keeps tapping, breathing matches it without effort. The river of the story slows now, not because it is ending, but because it is approaching a wide, still bend. Water here barely moves. Reflections linger. Lanterns float without urgency. The plant is no longer a subject. It is part of the background, like the firefly glow of memory, like the way the body knows how to sleep even when the mind forgets. You might feel yourself drifting, thoughts thinning like mist at dawn. That is exactly where the story likes to leave you. Not at a conclusion, but at a place where nothing needs to be solved. The night holds you. History hums softly in another room. The river keeps flowing even if you stop watching it. The river breathes again, a long exhale that turns into a calm, unbroken stretch of water. Nothing needs to happen quickly here. The night has settled into its deeper rhythm, the one that arrives after the world has finished asking questions. Somewhere far from clocks and screens, a fire burns low in a circle of stones that have seen thousands of evenings. The stones remember hands warming, voices murmuring, the soft crackle that sounds like thinking slowing down. The plant is there again, not as a headline, not as a debate, but as part of the familiar scent of night. It belongs the way shadows belong to trees. A woman sits with her back against a tree, listening to insects negotiate the darkness. Her day was ordinary, full of small efforts that added up to tiredness. She does not seek visions or revelations. She seeks rest. The smoke curls, barely visible. Her shoulders drop. The tension she carried like an extra bag slips to the ground. Later, she will sleep and wake without remembering the moment sleep arrived, which is how sleep prefers it. The story wanders into another place, another time. A scholar bends over a desk lit by a single candle. Ink stains his fingers. His mind has been sharp all day, cutting through problems, arranging ideas. Now sharpness hurts. He knows a way to dull the edge gently. He has learned it not from books, but from listening to people who listen to their bodies. The smoke softens the candlelight. His thoughts slow into wider shapes. He closes the book. The night finishes the lesson. Outside history, outside argument, there is always this quiet exchange between people and the evening. The plant has been part of that exchange for a very long time, long enough that its presence no longer announces itself. It is simply one of many ways humans have learned to signal to themselves that the work of the day is over. In a crowded neighborhood where walls are thin and lives overlap, a balcony door opens. A person steps out, careful not to wake anyone. The city hums, a distant animal that never quite sleeps. The pause happens anyway. Breath deepens. Muscles remember how to let go. The city does not stop, but it recedes, like waves heard from far inland. Sleep becomes possible even here. The river carries a memory of nomads who watched the stars as calendars. They moved when the land suggested it, rested when the body insisted. Around their fires, the smoke was shared sparingly, with respect. It was never about forgetting where they were. It was about feeling more fully present in the quiet hours. Their dreams were maps. Their sleep was part of the journey. Later, much later, people would argue about names and classifications. They would split the plant into parts, isolate its qualities, measure and weigh and regulate. All of that belongs to daylight thinking. Night thinking is different. Night thinking remembers that before analysis there was experience. Before policy, there was a person trying to rest. As you drift with the story, notice how it keeps returning to the same soft center. The details change, the scenery shifts, but the intention stays gentle. The plant is not a hero or a villain. It is a companion that has walked alongside humanity's evenings, sometimes welcomed, sometimes misunderstood, always patient. In one final image, the river curves through a wide plain under a sky washed clean by stars. On both banks, countless small lights flicker and fade as people lie down to sleep. Some lights are fires, some are lamps, some are just the glow of thought before it dims. The smoke from a few of those lights rises and disappears into the dark, leaving no trace, no claim. The river does not stop. It flows past memory, past language, past the need to continue telling. And as it flows, the story loosens its grip, becoming quieter, thinner, until it is no longer something you listen to, but something you drift inside. Breath slows. The night holds. The river carries you on, wordless now, into a sleep that feels ancient, familiar, and perfectly timed. The river barely moves now, and yet it never stops. It becomes a wide, dark mirror where the sky rests. Words grow softer here, like footsteps on moss, and the story learns to speak in images instead of sentences. A long time ago, and also right now, someone lies awake listening to the smallest sounds of a house settling into itself. Wood clicks. Pipes sigh. Fabric shifts as a body finds a better position. The mind drifts back over the day, but without urgency. Moments line up like stones across a shallow stream, easy to step on, easy to leave behind. The night does not demand resolution. It only offers space. The familiar plant appears again, but now it is almost invisible, like a moon behind thin clouds. It has done what it needed to do simply by being part of the evening. It has reminded the body of its own weight, of gravity as a comfort, of breath as something that happens without instruction. Muscles release in quiet order, from the jaw to the shoulders to the long paths down the legs. Sleep begins not at once, but in waves. Somewhere else, another fire is dying. Ash settles into shapes that will be unreadable by morning. A storyteller finishes a tale and realizes no one is listening anymore. Heads have bowed, hands have gone still. The storyteller smiles because this is the success of the story. To be forgotten at the right moment. To make itself unnecessary. The river carries echoes of ancient questions that no longer need answers. When did people begin? Why did they keep going? The answers blur into a single understanding. People noticed what helped them endure. They noticed what made the night kinder. They shared those discoveries in the only way that mattered by living them. In the deep quiet, memory becomes less personal. It spreads out, becoming something shared. You can almost feel the countless evenings layered beneath this one, like sediment underwater. Every tired body that ever lay down hoping for rest. Every mind that circled until it finally stopped. Every small ritual that said, now is the time to let go. The city, the village, the camp, the room you are in now, all of them drift together. Distance collapses. Time softens. The river no longer distinguishes between past and present. It only knows the steady rhythm of breathing, the slow blink of awareness fading. There is a moment, very brief and very gentle, when you realize you are no longer following the story. The story is following you, slowing itself to match your breath, dimming its own light so it does not keep you awake. This is intentional. This is kindness. Thoughts become round and unfinished. Images dissolve before they fully form. The night hums, a low sound without pitch, like the earth remembering itself. If dreams come, they will come quietly, without drama, like animals stepping into a clearing to drink. And if there is nothing, no images, no dreams, no story at all, that is also perfect. That is the deepest part of the river, where movement is felt but not seen, where rest is complete and unobserved. The story fades now, not with an ending, but with a settling. Like embers turning to warmth without flame. Like smoke thinning until it is indistinguishable from air. Like the final thought slipping away before it can finish itself. You are carried. The night is steady. Sleep has already arrived. The river remains wide and slow, and even though the words are fewer now, the feeling grows deeper. This is the part of the night where the world forgets to perform. Nothing is expected. Nothing is measured. Everything is allowed to soften. A breeze moves through tall grass somewhere far away, and the grass answers by leaning together. In a small house, a curtain lifts and settles again. The moon shifts its weight behind clouds. These tiny movements are enough to keep the night alive, enough to remind the body that it is safe to let go. The story remembers many hands, many lives, all reaching for the same quiet without knowing each other. A farmer long ago rubbed tired eyes and lay down on packed earth, the scent of plants and smoke still clinging to clothes. A traveler centuries later stretched out on a narrow bed in an unfamiliar room, listening for danger that never came. A person now here breathes in and out, slowly realizing there is nothing left to do. The plant, so often discussed, so often misunderstood, fades almost completely into the background. It has already done its part, which was never to shout or insist, only to nudge. Like dusk nudges day into night. Like night nudges the mind toward rest. Its story blends into the much older story of humans learning how to sleep despite worry, despite cold, despite noise, despite themselves. In the deep layers of the mind, images drift without shape. A fire seen from very far away. A path disappearing into trees. The sound of water moving over stones. These are not messages. They are reminders. The body has done this before. Thousands of times. Millions. Breathing evens out. The spaces between breaths grow longer, more generous. Muscles that were holding on out of habit finally understand they are no longer needed. The jaw loosens. The tongue rests. The eyes sink gently back, as if cradled. The river carries no history here, no future either, only this long, calm present. In this place, it does not matter when people started doing anything at all. Beginnings dissolve. Endings dissolve. There is only the steady continuity of rest passing from one generation to the next like a quiet inheritance. Somewhere, a final ember dims. No one watches it. It does not need an audience. It turns to warmth, then to memory, then to nothing at all. Smoke rises one last time and disappears into the dark sky, indistinguishable from night. Thoughts no longer form complete sentences. They trail off gently, like footsteps fading down a hallway. The story no longer needs to carry you. You are floating on your own now, supported by breath, by gravity, by the ancient knowledge of sleep stored deep in the body. The river slows until movement is no longer noticeable. The night holds without effort. The mind rests its weight fully. There is nothing left to continue, and that is exactly how it should be. The quiet does not break. It deepens like water becoming still enough to reflect stars. The river, now almost indistinguishable from the night itself, carries only sensation, warmth, weight, ease, things that do not need words. Somewhere a clock ticks, but it sounds far away, like a pebble dropped into a lake you are not standing beside. The body notices the bed beneath it, not as an object but as support, a patient presence that has been waiting all day to do this one simple job. Shoulders sink, hips settle. Breath finds a rhythm that feels older than thought. The story drifts through one last set of images, gentle as feathers. A field at dusk where the air smells green and sweet. A narrow trail worn smooth by countless feet, leading nowhere in particular. A small fire seen from a distance, its glow steady, reassuring, asking nothing from you. These images do not ask to be remembered. They pass like clouds. The long history that once mattered so much, dates, origins, arguments, has thinned into something softer. What remains is the shared human gesture of ending the day, of setting burdens down, of trusting the night to hold what the mind no longer can. If the familiar plant appears again, it is only as a faint echo, a note in a chord that has already resolved. Its role was never to take center stage, only to harmonize with the deeper music of rest. Now the music plays on without it, slow and steady. Dreams begin to gather at the edges, shy at first. They wait until the mind fully releases its grip. When they enter, they do so quietly, without drama like animals stepping carefully into a clearing at dawn. Or they may not come at all, and instead there will be a smooth, dark stretch of nothing, which is just as kind. The river has become the bed of the river. Movement is implied, not felt. Time loosens its shape. Minutes forget how to count themselves. The night does not rush you forward or pull you back. It simply stays. Breathing continues on its own. The body knows what to do. The story has already faded. There is only rest now, deep, unobserved, complete, and you are already inside it. The night stays with you, unchanging and patient, as if it has nowhere else to be. Darkness settles into the corners of the room, not heavy, not pressing, just present. The air feels softer now, as though it has learned how to hold you without effort. Breathing becomes something that happens on its own, quiet and dependable, like waves meeting a shore that has always been there. The river of the story continues, but now it moves beneath the surface. You don't need to watch it. You only need to feel that it is there, carrying everything gently forward. Time loosens its grip, releasing minutes one by one until they no longer matter. Somewhere far back in memory, humanity learned that night was not an enemy. At first, darkness must have felt uncertain, full of unseen movement and unanswered sounds. But slowly, people learned its patterns. They learned that most dangers slept when they slept. They learned that rest was a form of survival. And in that learning, they discovered small helpers: fire, shelter, familiar plants, shared rituals that told the body it was safe enough to let go. Even now, long after cities replaced camps and screens replaced stars, the body still responds to the same signals. Low light, quiet sounds, repetition, familiar scents, gentle pauses. The mind may live in the present, but the body remembers thousands of nights before this one. Each ending in the same way: eyes closing, muscles loosening, awareness fading into something deeper. In many places, long ago and not so long ago, evenings were marked by small, intentional acts. A fire lowered instead of fed, a voice softened instead of raised. A moment taken before sleep to slow the inner noise. Sometimes that moment included the familiar plant, sometimes it didn't. What mattered was the pause itself, the permission to stop striving. People noticed that when the pause came, thoughts changed shape. They became less sharp, less urgent. Problems that felt enormous during the day shrank into manageable outlines or dissolved completely until morning. The mind learned that not everything needed to be solved immediately. Sleep could carry some things for a while. Tonight is no different. The same ancient process unfolds quietly inside you. Muscles release their long-held tension. The face softens, especially around the eyes and mouth. The tongue rests comfortably. The shoulders sink, heavy but safe. The chest rises and falls in a slow, natural rhythm, no longer monitored, no longer corrected. The world outside continues, but it no longer requires your attention. Cars pass, wind moves through trees. Somewhere a light stays on in a distant window. These things exist without pulling you toward them. You are allowed to rest. The story remembers travelers who slept under open skies, using stars as ceilings and earth as beds. It remembers farmers who slept deeply after honest labor, their dreams shaped by weather and soil. It remembers artists who slept lightly, minds drifting through images that later became songs or paintings. It remembers healers, soldiers, children, elders, all of them surrendering to the same quiet necessity. Sleep does not belong to any era. It belongs to the body. The familiar plant, when it appears in the story, is never alone. It is always accompanied by context, by intention, by environment, by the quiet agreement between a person and the night. It was never meant to replace rest, only to guide the body toward it when the path felt blocked. And once the door was open, sleep did the rest on its own. Now the door is already open. Thoughts slow until they feel rounded, unfinished. Ideas drift in and out without demanding attention. Images may appear briefly, a road at dusk, a fire glowing low, water moving slowly over smooth stones, but they fade before becoming stories. The mind is no longer constructing narratives. It is dissolving them. Breathing deepens. The pauses between breaths stretch gently, like comfortable silence between friends. The heart finds a calm rhythm, steady and unremarkable, exactly how it likes to be at night. The river reaches another wide bend, and here it almost stops. Reflection replaces motion. The surface becomes so smooth that the sky rests inside it. Stars seem closer, softer, less distant. The moon real or imagined hangs without urgency. This is the place where effort ends. No one expects anything from you here. Not productivity. Not understanding. Not awareness. You don't need to follow the story anymore. It has already done its work. It was never meant to keep you awake. It was meant to walk beside you until you no longer needed company. Sleep begins not as an event, but as an absence. The absence of tension. The absence of urgency. The absence of self-observation. You do not fall asleep, you drift away from being awake. The night holds everything evenly. Past and future lose their edges. The present stretches wide and quiet. The body sinks fully into rest, trusting the ancient rhythm that has always carried it through darkness and back into light. The river continues without sound. The story releases its last words. And sleep, patient and familiar, settles in completely. The quiet remains steady, unbroken, like a deep lake that does not ripple even when the wind passes over it. The night has fully claimed its space now, and everything that belongs to the day has gently stepped aside. There is no need to remember what came before this moment. There is no need to anticipate what comes after. The only thing that exists is this slow, comfortable drifting. Breathing continues on its own, smooth and effortless. Each inhale arrives without asking. Each exhale leaves without explanation. The body understands this rhythm better than the mind ever could. It has practiced it through countless nights, through moments of fear and moments of peace, always returning to the same calm pattern when it was finally allowed to rest. The story moves forward quietly, almost invisibly. It no longer tells events. It describes states of being, softness, stillness, weight, warmth. The kind of warmth that comes not from heat but from safety. From knowing at a deep level that nothing is required of you right now. Long ago, people learned to trust this feeling. They learned that the night could carry them when they were too tired to carry themselves. Around low fires and dim lamps, they discovered that rest was not weakness. It was preparation. It was repair. It was the quiet work the body did when the world stopped watching. Even now, surrounded by modern noise and endless motion, that ancient understanding lives inside you. It wakes up when the lights dim. It wakes up when sound softens. It wakes up when the body senses permission. The familiar plant that has wandered through this story becomes even more distant now, like a scent remembered rather than smelled. Its presence fades into the larger truth it always belonged, to that humans have always searched for ways to ease the transition from effort to rest. Some ways lasted, some disappeared. The need itself never changed. The mind loosens further. Thoughts no longer arrive in sentences. They come as impressions, a feeling of sinking, a sense of floating, a gentle blur where sharp edges used to be. If a thought appears, it drifts away without resistance, like a leaf carried by slow water. Somewhere far away, a dog turns in its sleep. Somewhere else, a bird settles deeper into its nest. The natural world continues its own quiet rituals, all of them aligned with rest. You are part of that rhythm, whether you think about it or not. The body grows heavier, not uncomfortably so, but reassuringly. As if gravity itself has decided to be kind tonight. The bed supports you completely. There is nothing to hold up. Nothing to brace against. Nothing to monitor. The river reaches a place so wide that movement becomes almost impossible to detect. It feels like hovering. Like being suspended between breaths. This is the space where sleep deepens on its own, without being guided. Dreams may begin forming somewhere below the surface, assembling gently, patiently. Or there may be nothing at all, no images, no narratives, just a smooth, dark rest that feels timeless. Both are equally perfect. Both mean the same thing. The story no longer tries to accompany you. It steps back respectfully, knowing that you have arrived where words cannot follow. The night closes in softly, not as darkness, but as shelter. Breathing slows just a little more. The heart settles into a calm, even pace. Awareness fades without resistance. There is nothing left to continue because you are already resting inside the quiet the story was guiding you toward. The night stretches on, endless and patient, like a soft blanket that has been waiting for you all day. Darkness no longer feels empty. It feels full of calm and possibility, full of quiet spaces where the body can finally let go. Every nerve relaxes in its own time, every muscle softens, every thought drifts like mist over still water. Somewhere the faint sounds of the world persist, the distant hum of life, but they no longer reach you. They are part of the background now, not demanding attention. You are inside a space where nothing presses, nothing intrudes, nothing insists. This is the true rhythm of rest, the one that humans have discovered over countless generations, a rhythm older than cities, older than language. The river of the story continues in a whisper. It no longer carries events or facts. It carries only sensations, warmth, ease, the subtle rhythm of breath, the gentle sway between consciousness and sleep. It carries the memory of countless nights where people learned to lie down without fear, where the body learned to trust that it could release tension and still be safe. The familiar plant appears now as a faint echo, a trace in the air that does not need recognition. Its role has always been quiet, never commanding, always gentle. It has helped signal to the body, it is safe to let go. And now the body knows on its own. It does not need reminders. It does not need guidance. Somewhere in a faraway forest, leaves settle over the undergrowth. Somewhere on a distant hill, a stream moves silently over stones. Somewhere in a small, warm home, someone lies asleep, breathing slow and deep, muscles letting go of burdens they have carried too long. You are part of that same quiet pattern. You are connected to all those nights that came before, to every body that learned the ancient rhythm of letting go. Thoughts continue to thin. They come and go like shadows at dusk, unformed and unneeded. Memory floats without structure. Images, if they appear, are soft and fleeting, a flicker of moonlight, a trace of wind through trees, the glow of embers fading to warmth. Nothing demands your attention. Nothing presses to be remembered. You are free to drift wherever the night carries you. Breathing continues with effortless steadiness. Each inhale feels like filling a calm space. Each exhale feels like letting go of all tension. The chest rises and falls in perfect rhythm. Shoulders sink, jaw loosens, eyes rest in their sockets. Even the smallest muscles relax, following the quiet commands of the night. The river flows beneath the surface, slow and unnoticeable, carrying all of this forward. There is no hurry. There is no goal. There is only the steady, infinite unfolding of rest, the same one humans have trusted for thousands of years. Somewhere faintly, the whisper of a wind moves across a distant plain. It shifts the grass, bends branches, caresses hills. You feel its echo in your body, a soft nudge that deeper relaxation is possible. The night listens to you. The night keeps you. And now, deeper still, sleep begins to arrive not as a sudden fall, but as a seamless merging with the quiet. Awareness thins, perception softens, and the border between waking and dreaming begins to blur. The body knows exactly what to do. The mind allows it. The story has completed its role. It no longer needs to speak. The river continues silently. Your breath continues steadily. The night continues holding you. You are completely, gently, fully at rest. The quiet deepens even further, stretching like an endless sky across your awareness. Each moment flows seamlessly into the next, and the mind, no longer needing to organize, lets itself float. Thoughts are faint, like distant clouds passing slowly overhead, dissolving before they can form into anything that matters. You feel the weight of your body fully supported, every point of contact with your bed soft and secure, each muscle gradually releasing its hold on the tension it has carried through the day. Somewhere far away, a soft rain begins, almost imperceptible at first. It patters gently, a delicate rhythm that blends with your own breathing. Each drop is a tiny invitation to sink further into calm, and your body answers automatically. Shoulders fall, arms rest, legs become heavy, comfortable. Even the smallest points of strain in your hands and feet dissolve quietly. You do not need to notice this happening, it simply does. The river of the story is no longer a river at all. It has become the stillness beneath everything, the slow current of night that has carried humans through countless evenings, through countless centuries. It whispers no words. It gives no instructions. It exists only to hold, to support, to allow rest to happen exactly as it needs to. The familiar plant drifts into memory once more, like a faint scent carried on the wind. Its presence is gentle, unimportant in itself, but powerful in the sense that it represents the deep, timeless human desire for comfort, for release, for the permission to let go. Its role is complete simply by having been there, quietly reminding countless generations that rest is possible, that the mind can soften, that the body can release. You are part of that lineage. You are connected to every quiet night, every slow exhale, every moment where the mind has learned to release tension and allow sleep to enter. You do not need to do anything to deserve this rest. You do not need to earn it. You are exactly where you need to be. Outside, the world continues its quiet rhythms. Leaves shift slightly in the wind. A distant animal breathes and moves. Somewhere someone else is already dreaming. These movements are part of the background, subtle and unobtrusive, reminding you that life carries on gently around you while you remain fully, perfectly still. Breathing slows naturally, the spaces between each inhale and exhale growing longer, more deliberate without effort. Your body sinks even more completely into support. Your jaw softens, your eyes feel heavy, unobserved, but completely rested. Your chest rises and falls in calm, steady motion. The tension in your mind becomes so light it is almost imperceptible, replaced entirely by ease. Sleep moves closer, but it does not announce itself. It is not sudden. It is not sharp. It is like a river finally reaching a calm lake, the water so smooth that it is impossible to tell where motion begins or ends. Your awareness drifts along with it, neither fighting nor resisting, simply allowing the night to carry you. The story has done its work. It no longer speaks or guides. It remains in the background, a soft presence like embers long after the fire has gone out. You are free to let go completely, to become one with the stillness, to allow sleep to arrive fully and gently, unhurried, timeless. And now, as your breath continues in perfect rhythm, as your body rests fully, and as the night holds everything evenly around you, you are entirely, deeply, peacefully at rest. The night surrounds you like a soft, endless blanket stretching quietly across the sky. Each corner of your body feels supported, settled into the surface beneath you. Muscles that have held tension all day gradually release, one by one, like knots loosening without effort. Your shoulders sink a little deeper. Your jaw softens. Your hands rest easily. Even your feet, often tense without thought, relax completely. Breathing flows in a calm, natural rhythm. Each inhale fills you with gentle warmth. Each exhale releases everything you have carried, worries, thoughts, tension. You do not need to control it. You do not need to guide it. You simply follow the slow, steady pulse of your own body. Somewhere far away, a breeze moves softly through trees. The leaves shift with a quiet rhythm, brushing against one another in a sound barely perceptible. The air carries the faint, familiar scent of earth and grass, grounding you even as the night deepens. It reminds you that you are part of the same long, slow rhythm that has always existed in the world, night arriving and rest following. Imagine a river, calm and wide, carrying the echoes of countless evenings long ago. Travelers resting under open skies, farmers lying down after a long day of work, children drifting into dreams beside warm fires. The river flows beneath all of them, beneath every generation, carrying the quiet promise of rest. It moves so gently that no one notices it, but it is always present, supporting every moment of stillness. Tonight the river carries you too. It is not rushing. It is not trying to pull you anywhere. It simply supports your body, your mind, your breath. You are floating within it, feeling weightless, safe, and completely at ease. The world around you continues quietly. Somewhere a bird shifts in its nest. Somewhere water moves over smooth stones in a distant stream. Somewhere a small animal curls up to sleep. None of it disturbs you. Instead, it reminds you that life continues gently, that movement and calm can exist together, and that you are fully allowed to rest while it does. Thoughts drift lightly in your mind, like clouds passing overhead. They come briefly and fade, leaving no urgency, no need to hold on. Even the smallest tension dissolves. Your mind is allowed to soften, to slow, to release. Imagine the air around you filled with the quiet glow of a distant fire. Its warmth is subtle, not intrusive. It touches your awareness lightly, reminding you of safety, of comfort, of continuity. It whispers that everything is exactly as it should be. You do not need to do anything. You do not need to move or solve or prepare. You only need to breathe slowly, gently, in harmony with the quiet night. With every breath, every heartbeat, your body sinks deeper. Your spine relaxes, letting gravity take over. Your legs, your arms, your neck all soften and rest. The tension in your chest eases, opening space for a calm rhythm. Even your mind begins to float, untethered from the weight of the day. The river beneath you continues its quiet, endless flow. It carries you, unhurried, into deeper relaxation. You feel as though you are gliding just above the surface of water that reflects the stars. The night is so vast, so still, that you can sense the gentle pulse of the universe moving slowly with you, cradling you, letting you drift. Sleep approaches not with urgency, but with patience. It comes like a soft current, nudging you gently. You feel yourself letting go without resistance. Every part of you surrenders naturally to rest. The story around you fades into silence. You do not need it anymore. You only need the river, the night, your breath, and the calm weight of your body. Everything you have carried drifts away. Nothing demands attention. Nothing interrupts. Only stillness, only ease, only the slow, steady unfolding of sleep. You are safe. You are calm. You are held. You are drifting. And now, in this quiet, gentle flow, you are already inside the deepest, most restorative sleep. The night stretches gently around you, soft and wide, like a dark ocean holding you without effort. Your body feels heavier in the most comforting way, every point of contact with the bed or floor fully supported. Muscles release themselves slowly, without thought or tension. Your shoulders drop, your jaw softens, your hands rest easily. Even your legs feel pleasantly heavy, as though gravity itself has decided to be kind tonight. Breath moves in a slow, steady rhythm. Inhale, gentle and full. Exhale, letting go of every small worry, every thought that tried to keep you awake. You do not need to control your breathing. It flows naturally, perfectly aligned with the quiet of the night. Each breath carries you deeper into calm, into stillness, into a place where nothing presses against you. Imagine yourself in a quiet forest at dusk. The air is cool, fragrant with the scent of pine and earth. Leaves shift softly above, brushing against one another, creating a natural rhythm that matches the slow beat of your heart. Somewhere far off, water moves over smooth stones, making a sound that is both constant and delicate. You are alone, but safe. The night is yours. A river winds through your imagination now, calm and unhurried, carrying the memory of every peaceful night in history, travelers resting under open skies, families lying down after long days, children slipping into dreams beside fires that glow low and steady. The river carries all of them and now carries you, moving gently, steadily, without hurry. Feel the support of your body as it sinks further into the surface beneath you. Your spine relaxes fully. Your arms and legs release their tension. Every muscle that has held tight during the day lets go completely. Your chest rises and falls with ease, each exhale carrying a little more calm, a little more surrender. The world outside exists quietly around you, distant and soft. Perhaps a night breeze shifts the leaves outside a window. Perhaps a bird settles into its nest, or the distant hum of life continues far away. None of it disturbs you. Instead, it reminds you that life continues gently and you are fully allowed to rest within its flow. Thoughts drift in your mind like light clouds, passing without insistence, without urgency. You do not need to hold on. You do not need to follow them. Let them float, fade, and disappear. Even tension, even worry, dissolves quietly now. The mind softens, loosens, and floats alongside your body in perfect calm. Imagine a small fire far off, its glow soft, steady, and comforting. Its warmth touches your awareness gently. It does not demand attention. It does not call you. It simply exists, reminding you of safety, of ease, of the quiet strength of night. You are part of this calm. You are held. You are protected. Every breath carries you deeper. Every heartbeat matches the slow rhythm of the night. You feel weightless, yet grounded. Your awareness drifts, untethered from the demands of the day. You are floating in a vast, silent space that is only yours, cradled by darkness, soothed by rhythm, embraced by stillness. The river beneath you continues, invisible but present. It carries you through the deepest layers of calm. It has no urgency, no goal. It only flows and you move with it, effortlessly, safely, fully. Sleep is not something you catch. It is something you allow. You allow your body to surrender fully, your mind to soften completely, your awareness to drift freely. Sleep comes like a gentle tide, rolling in without announcement, without struggle. You simply become one with the night, one with the quiet, one with the slow current that carries you onward. Nothing demands your attention. Nothing interrupts. You are free, you are calm. You are entirely at rest. And now, in this perfect stillness, you are already in the deep, restorative sleep you have been waiting for, fully embraced by the quiet, carried endlessly by the night. The night feels endless and calm, like a quiet ocean stretching beyond what you can see. Every part of your body is supported, resting fully against the surface beneath you. Muscles that have carried tension all day begin to melt away. Shoulders drop gently. The jaw softens. Arms and legs grow pleasantly heavy, resting completely without effort. Every point of contact is steady, warm, and secure. Breathing continues, effortless and rhythmic. Each inhale brings a gentle wave of calm. Each exhale releases every small worry, every thought you do not need to hold. You are not controlling anything. The rhythm flows naturally, guided only by the quiet of the night and the gentle awareness of your own body. Imagine a quiet valley at twilight, where the air is soft and cool. Trees sway slightly in a gentle breeze. A distant stream flows over smooth stones, its water making a soft, constant murmur. You are completely alone, yet you feel utterly safe. The night surrounds you with calm, its presence steady and reassuring. The river of the story flows beneath you once more, invisible yet tangible. It carries echoes of countless peaceful nights. Travelers resting under open skies, families lying down after long days, children drifting into dreams beside fires glowing softly. The river carries all of them, and now carries you, moving slowly and without urgency, steady as the quiet pulse of life itself. Feel your body settling deeper into the surface beneath you. Your spine releases tension. Your arms, legs, and neck soften completely. Every muscle relaxes. The chest rises and falls with ease. Each breath is longer, calmer, smoother. Each exhale takes a little more of the day away, a little more of the tension, until nothing remains but calm and stillness. Outside, the world continues quietly, far away. Perhaps a distant animal breathes softly. Perhaps wind rustles the leaves. Perhaps a river flows over stones somewhere unseen. None of it disturbs you. Instead, it blends into your calm, reminding you that life continues gently, and you are fully allowed to rest within its rhythm. Thoughts drift lightly in your mind, like mist moving across a lake. They come and go without urgency. You do not need to follow them, hold them, or respond. Even worry dissolves, fading into the quiet. Your mind becomes soft, spacious, free. Awareness itself grows lighter. Imagine a fire in the distance. Its glow steady, warm, and comforting. It does not call for attention. It does not demand anything. It is simply present, a symbol of safety and calm. You feel the warmth in your awareness, a quiet reminder that you are supported, that you are held, that the night is yours. Breath after breath carries you deeper into stillness. Each inhale fills you with gentle calm. Each exhale releases tension, every trace of effort, every fragment of the day. Your body sinks further into support. Your awareness drifts, untethered from thought, floating on the slow, steady river of night. The river beneath you continues, unseen but steady, carrying you toward the most restorative sleep. It flows without urgency or direction. You flow with it, weightless, safe, and completely at ease. Sleep does not arrive as a sudden event. It moves in quietly, like a gentle tide rolling over the shore, allowing you to dissolve into its calm, seamless rhythm. Every muscle softens. Every point of tension melts. Every thought thins and drifts away. You are weightless yet grounded. Awareness fades gently, softly, like clouds dissolving into sky. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go, nothing to hold on to. You are entirely at rest. The night, the river, your body, your breath, they are all one now. Sleep is not something you chase. Sleep is already here. You are cradled in it, carried by it, completely immersed. And now, in this perfect stillness, you are fully, deeply, completely at peace, drifting gently into the most restorative, endless sleep. The night grows even quieter, embracing you like a soft, endless cocoon. Your body has fully surrendered to the surface beneath it, heavy yet weightless, supported yet free. Muscles release their hold one by one. Your shoulders sink, your jaw softens, your hands rest naturally. Even your legs feel pleasantly weighted, stretching fully into ease. Every point of contact is steady, secure, and comforting. Breathing flows effortlessly, each inhale bringing calm and gentle warmth, each exhale releasing tension you didn't even know you were holding. There is nothing to control, nothing to monitor. Your body knows exactly what to do. Your mind has started to drift, as thoughts thin and fade like distant clouds moving across the night sky. Imagine standing at the edge of a quiet forest just as twilight settles. The air is cool, scented with earth and leaves. The trees sway gently, whispering to one another as a soft breeze brushes past. A small stream runs silently over smooth stones, making a sound so soft it seems like it's part of your own breathing. You are alone, yet completely safe. The night holds you, wrapping around you in stillness and calm. The river of the story flows beneath you once again. It carries the memory of countless nights. Travelers resting beneath open skies, families lying down after long, productive days, children drifting off beside gentle fires. It carries all of them, and now carries you, moving slowly, steadily, with no urgency. You float in its quiet rhythm, weightless yet grounded, perfectly supported. Feel your body sink deeper into the surface beneath you. Every muscle softens. Every joint releases. Your chest rises and falls naturally, your breath stretching into longer, calmer waves. Each exhale takes away the residue of the day, the stress, the small worries, the tension. You do not need to hold on. You do not need to fight, you simply allow. The world outside continues in soft, distant rhythms. A leaf shifts in a tree. A stream hums quietly in the distance. Somewhere, a small animal breathes, settles, and sleeps. None of this disturbs you. Instead, it reminds you of the gentle continuity of life and of your complete permission to rest, fully and safely, within its flow. Thoughts drift lightly in your mind, faint and unformed, like mist over a quiet lake. They come briefly and then vanish without resistance. Even the tiniest tension dissolves now. The mind softens, widens, floats. Awareness drifts freely, untethered, gentle. Imagine a distant fire, its soft glow warm and steady. It is comforting, silent, unintrusive. It reminds you of safety and calm. Its warmth is present, subtle, encouraging your body and mind to relax further, to surrender fully. You are cradled in the nights, supported by its gentle, steady presence. With every breath, you sink deeper into stillness. Inhale calm, exhale tension, muscles relax further. Awareness fades slowly, softly. The river beneath you carries you onward, unhurried, into the deepest layers of sleep. It has no rush, no expectation, no goal. You float along with it effortlessly. Sleep does not arrive suddenly. It flows gently, like a tide rolling across a quiet shore. You merge seamlessly into its rhythm. Every muscle softens completely. Every thought thins and drifts away. You are weightless yet grounded. Awareness fades, gently, like clouds dissolving into an endless sky. There is nothing left to do. There is nowhere to go. There is nothing to hold. You are fully at rest. The night, the river, your body, your breath, they are all one now. Sleep is already here. You are held, cradled, carried by it. And now in this endless, calm, protective stillness, you drift fully into the most restorative, peaceful, and effortless sleep you have ever experienced, carried by the night, floating gently on the river of rest, fully, completely, unhurriedly.